Java real-time project, full stack. Again, we'll come to this project kickoff using the. So we'll discuss this project kickoff. Spring Boot, what is the process and how it will be happening. Cloud technologies. I'll explain. First, let me glance you. First of all, 15 to 20 minutes through this. This course is course content. Then the demos will begin to the concepts. The demos will be 8. So the concepts that we need to discuss. One is the project kickoff. Probably 5 the project will be kicked off and all we need to discuss. Minimum 5 demos. Right. Maximum next 5 demos. Is timings will be 8 7:15 a.m. not 8:15. The class timings are 8 a.m. regular class timings are 9:15 9 a.m. For sure 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. 1 hour we'll have the session. Okay. And next so 15 to 20 minutes. Then we're going to start the session. Next 15 to 20 minutes is the prerequisite for this course. Let me just glance every day 1 hour class and 15 to 20 minutes. The prerequisite. If anyone would like to drop off after the session, you can go. You can drop and then come to your offices. You can ask me your questions online. Hello all. Am I audible? The Telegram channel. And if any others want to clear their doubts live, yes, sir. Thanks. You can stay on the link and then ask me your doubts. Next 15 to 20 minutes. Just check your mic and all. So you can, okay. So let me clear you questions, anything. Project and the mode of Shopify training platform live. In project type is full stack. So mode of this training. Okay, before that, full stack development. Domain is retail e-commerce. End to end. You need to have from the UI to domain knowledge till database modeling. So let us discuss about the develop from domain scratch. Retail e-commerce. Before joining usually any project in any application, first you need to have know the domain. And how the domain view pages are view right, meaning right front end. So why we need to know the domain? So we will always interact. What is the benefit front if you know end? The domain? It will be retail e-commerce is a domain. Backend. So what is domain? So that front end and then backend. Again, and how we can understand the retail versus e-commerce. What is front end? What is backend? And if you work on the retail end-to-end application, what are the development benefits that you will test? Meaning the technical deployment. What are the technical assets you will get? Full stack development. We will discuss them. The course duration is next 75 days. The mode of the training will be live. Maximum is facing 75 days. Completely 60 days. Scratch. Live. So we'll also conduct the little longer sessions on Saturdays and then Sundays on need basis. So live instructor pacing, live then coding. We'll try to from scratch wind up it in the specified duration coding from scratch. Days. So let me. And cloud platform, we're going to use the AWS. AWS coding from platform. Very scratch. In AWS so cloud this platform, is the mode of the use training. The services live online. EC2, live online in VPC. Certificate live manager online. Route 53, right? That means instructor will tell you the training. So these are all the my services will give you the training through the online. Live, it will also, be, S3 coding from very scratch, S3 from the very basic. So these services too. Don't worry if you don't know AWS. Since the no need to worry cases I will share the videos of all the services. We'll discuss all the things and just go through coding also. I will and also you while from the very scratch. You will again even if you don't know Maven, even if you don't know Git practically while we are by this time whenever you are attending the project meaning. So why at least first of all the step one is knowledge on the tools. Infrastructure may not be in the project, but here I'll usually start the how the project tools like will be how you will get up and all. Then slowly I will drive you through the first project. How the project will start in real time. The technologies and then the framework. Few words about that. Use. Then let me come back to the course. Again, coming to the back. However, first let me complete the course content. Then I'll come back. So why I'm talking about the backend here? I'll explain. The kickstarting process of a project. Project kickoff. Out of curiosity, would like to tell you here. Project kickoff. Again, we'll come to see my project kickoff. Now. Okay, so we'll discuss this project kickoff. So if you can see what is the process and how it will be. These are all called as I'll explain. Front end. First, let me glance you for 15 to 20 minutes through this. Angular content. Maybe then let us begin to mobile device concepts. Maybe so the concepts that we need to discuss. One is the project kickoff. how
So
the project
these
will be kicked off and all we need
devices
to discuss. These applications.
Next is timings
require
are
the
8
data.
a.m. not 8:15.
So the data
Timings are
in
8
order
a.m.
to
to
get 9:15,
these
9 a.m. For
applications
sure, 8 a.m.
talk
to 9
to
a.m. 1 hour
server side
will have the session.
applications. These will
And
execute in
next
the browser.
15 to 20 minutes.
These components
Next
will
15 to
execute in the
20
site.
minutes is doubts clearing.
So the browser side
every day 1 hour
components
class
will talk to the
and
server
15
side
to 20
components
minutes
to
doubts
fetch the
clear.
data and to
If anyone
paint
would
the
like to
data.
drop off after the session, you can
These are all
go.
just a
You can
painting
drop and then
frameworks.
continue to your offices. You
For
can
the
ask me
original
your
business
questions
data
online through
will
the
be
Telegram
at this
channel.
backend.
And if any
So
others
this
want
is
to clear their
what I am
doubts
now
live,
talking about. This
you
will
can
be
stay on the
implemented
link and then ask me
using
your
the
doubts.
Spring Boot 3.x
Next 15 to 20
and
minutes.
microservices architecture.
Okay. So
Then
you can
Spring
cloud we will
ask
use
any of your questions,
to
anything.
make our system as an
And the
ecosystem.
mode of
I'll explain
what is
this
ecosystem.
training.
Don't worry,
is
the words I'm
live.
using may be
Instructor
brand new for you. So mode of this training, but slowly you will get the meaning of
domain
is
is retail e-commerce.
okay. Dockerize
Again,
we will
you
need
need
to
to
have
have
a
domain
domain
knowledge.
knowledge. We will dockerize the
So let us
applications.
discuss
If you
about
can
the
see everywhere I have
domain
taken
retail
the
e-commerce.
Docker.
Before joining
Everywhere
to
any
Docker,
project
you can see. First, you need
this
to
is not
know the
but
domain.
this is Docker.
And how the domain will
Everywhere I
help you,
have taken Docker.
right? So
That
why we
means
need to
what?
know the domain?
Not
What is
audible.
what is the benefit if you know the
I
domain?
think
Retail e-commerce is a
Bhogendra,
domain.
there is some
So
issue
what
seems
is
to be
domain?
with your mic
What
or
is
something
subdomain?
else. But
And
others
how we
are
can
able to
understand
hear
the
me, I
retail
believe,
versus
because they were
e-commerce?
confirmed.
And if
They
you
are able
work
to
on the
hear me.
retail e-commerce projects, then
Okay, just check
what
your
are
mic or
the
maybe the
benefits that you
speakers
will,
and all.
meaning the technically what
Fine.
what are the technical assets you
Now,
will get?
Coming
We
to
will
this
discuss them.
technical stack next.
So Docker will
The
use
mode of the training will be
AWS
live
platform we will use
instructor
as a
facing
cloud platform completely
where we're going to
scratch
deploy our
live
applications, meaning we will
instructor
maintain
facing
the Docker machine there.
So live instructor facing
In
live
the
coding
Docker
actually,
machine
from scratch.
the applications will run as a containers.
Coding from
Don't worry,
scratch.
what is this Docker
So
containers and all. We'll
Coding
see.
from very
And
scratch.
here we are using WSO2
Coding
IAM.
from very scratch.
That is for what?
So this is the
That is for
mode
the
of the training. Live
authentication,
online,
authorization,
live online,
users
instructor facing,
management, application
live
management,
online.
devices
Right?
management.
That means
So
instructor
for all
will
these purposes,
tell you the
we
training.
are also using
Meaning
the
myself will give you
WSO2
training through the
IAM.
online.
You can see the
Live it will
WSO2
be
IAM in the architecture.
coding from very scratch. From the very
Keycloak
very
also you can
since
use.
project
You guys
starting
can
to
use Keycloak and other also.
meaning
But especially in this project,
use cases
I'm suggesting to use
identity server
project starting. We'll
because of
discuss
its
all the
having
things
all and features.
coding
Many
also I
features
will do in
compared
front
to
of you
from the
Keycloak
very very
of
scratch.
and others.
Even
Even if you don't know Maven, even if
So
you
I'll
don't know
explain
Git, when we dig into
by
and
this
when we
time
start
whenever
this
you are
IAM
attending
setup.
the project meaning, at least you might have
Next
little
thing is what? Knowledge on the tools
JDK
may or may not
17.x
be
is
required because
but
Spring
here
Boot 3.x
I'll
is
also
using
start
the
the
JDK 17.x
tools
like
and
Maven, GitHub and all. Then
is
slowly I will
required to
drive
use
you through
because
the again Spring Boot
project.
3.x will be built using the
Okay,
Maven
the
3.8
technologies
and then the frameworks
as
we're going to use
minimum version.
Spring Boot 3.x. Then we'll also use the Redis cache.
Again, coming to
Not
the
only
backend,
this, Spring Boot 3.x. There were around 32 tools and then
so why I'm
services
talking
we're gonna
about the
use in
backend
this
here,
project.
what is that backend front
I can
end
showcase them.
just these are all the
Major
major
curiosity
technical
would like
stack,
to tell
major
you here.
technical stack.
I have listed out here.
Hope you are able
Major
to see my
technical
screen
stack.
now
At the
back.
So if you
side.
can see,
Now
these
coming
are
to
all
the
called
front
as
end
the
side,
front end.
or
We're going to
UI,
use the React.js 18.x,
maybe
and React
Angular
hooks,
application,
maybe React
and
application,
Redux
maybe
concept.
mobile device,
Redux,
maybe
Redux store,
a retail POS
React
device,
hooks.
Redux store, and then
So
React.js
these devices
18.x,
or these
whatever the latest
applications
as on
requires
when
the
we start
data.
this React.js that we will use.
So that data,
So
in
that
order to
means
get
we're gonna build a
these
system
applications will
where
talk
the UI
to
will execute in the browser,
server side applications,
where all microservices
these will
run
execute in the browser.
cloud. This
These
UI will make
these
a call to
components
the
will
cloud
execute in the
services
server.
over the network. So the
stateless
browser side
architecture
components will talk
is
to
what
the server
we're gonna
side
see.
components to fetch the
Right.
data, and
So
to
you need to know
paint
the
about
data.
the
Stateless.
These are all just a
architecture.
painting frameworks.
So these are all the
The
concepts.
original business
Next,
data
we're gonna start and then discuss.
will
Okay?
be at
Because
this
you guys have to know
backend.
this. So stateless
So
architecture
this is what I'm now talking about. This will be implemented.
Okay, coming to the
using
prerequisites,
Spring Boot 3.x.
everybody must
and
have the knowledge
microservices
or
experience
architecture.
on Java 8.
Then
Why?
Spring
Because
Cloud
we will use
will extensively use Java
make
8 here.
our system as an ecosystem.
I'll
Most
explain
of the
what is
coding I'm
ecosystem.
doing,
Don't worry,
in
the
Java
words I'm
8.
using maybe
We'll
brand
use the
new for
functional
you.
programming. We'll
But
use the
slowly you will get
expressions,
the
lambda,
meaning of those words, right?
We'll use the
Okay,
streams.
Dockerize. We will
Java
we'll use
8
the
features,
Dockerizing
we'll use
concepts.
We will
Dockerize
extensively
the
here. So
applications.
Java 8
If you can
knowledge or
see everywhere, I
experience is
have
mandatory.
taken the Docker.
Everywhere Docker you can see.
We are using Spring
This
Boot
is not, but
3.x.
this is Docker.
But if you
Everywhere I have
if the
taken
most
Docker.
of the folks don't know
That
Spring
means
Boot
what?
3.x,
Don't worry.
not
If you
audible,
know the Spring core,
I think
then you will be eligible.
if you know Spring
Bogendra,
Boot as well,
there
that
is some issue
fantastic.
seems to be with your mic or
But if you
something
know
else.
Spring Core,
But others
yeah,
are able
come
to
and
hear
then
me,
join
I believe, because they were
we're
confirmed.
gonna start the
They are
Spring
able to
Boot.
hear
When
me.
we're gonna start the project in
Just
Spring
check
Boot
your
from
mic
very
or maybe the
scratch.
speakers and
So
all.
whenever again I'm creating the
Fine.
project in Spring Boot and then we are
Now,
starting, coming to this,
I'll explain
what I'm
technical
doing.
stack.
What is that?
So
Why
Docker
I'm
we'll
doing
use.
and all. I'll explain. AWS platform
So
we will use.
as a
If you
cloud
have the
platform,
experience, knowledge on
where
Spring
we're
Boot,
gonna
no version,
deploy our
no problem, whatever the
applications,
version
meaning
it
we
is.
will
Maintain
you can
the
come and then join. That's very
Docker
good.
machine there. No, if you don't know the Spring Boot, you
In the
only
Docker
till Spring
vision,
Core. That is also
the
fine. You can come and
applications
then
will
join.
run as a containers.
Don't worry,
Because
what is
we're
this
gonna
Docker
start the project
containers
in
and
Spring
all?
Boot only. We'll
So
see.
whenever I'm
And
starting
here
a project,
I'll
we
explain.
are
meaning
using, for example, we
WSO2
created now
IAM.
user management project.
As
That
you.
is for what? Then
That
I'll
is for
explain
the
what is bill of material
authentication,
pattern, what is
authorization,
dependencies, hierarchy,
what
user
is
sensitive
management,
dependencies,
application management,
right?
devices
How the Spring
management.
Boot will
So for
use
all these
these
purposes,
purposes, we are
how
also
the auto
using the
configuration which is using
WSO2 IAM.
you
How
can
the
see the
starters are making a
WSO2
big
IAM in
difference
the
to our
architecture.
to us. All this
Keycloak
Spring Boot
also you can
concepts
use.
again, you guys can use
Discuss there.
Keycloak and other also. However,
But
especially in this project,
the project
I'm
has
suggesting
been
to use the
identity
development
server
phase of the project
because
is
of its
divided
have
into
its all
8 sprint
features,
meaning
many
60 days.
features
I told
compared
60 days
to
is the minimum target.
Keycloak,
Right?
Okta, and others.
So 60 days we will target. So I'll explain when we dig into
Maximum is
when we
75
start
days.
this IAM setup. So in the 60 days,
Next
first
thing
1
is
week
what?
we will do the JDK
Infrastructure
17.x
setup.
is required because Spring Boot 3.x
What kind
is
of
using the
infrastructure
JDK
setup we will do?
17.x.
So
And
this
Mavi
is what our
3.8
infra
is
setup.
required to use because again
This is the
Spring Boot
production
3.x will be
infrastructure.
built using the Maven
This
3.8
is the production infrastructure.
as the minimum version.
This setup we
Then we'll
also
also use the
not
Redis
right
cache.
now, but at
Not
least
only
I'll
this,
explain the
there were around
infrastructure
32
setup in the
tools
production,
and then services,
and we will
use
do
in
the
this
infra
project
setup
in the dev. I can showcase them.
the first 1 week.
These are all the major
Infrastructure
technical
setup
stack
in
major
dev
as well as the I have listed
cloud.
out here. Major technical stack. Next, second
The
week onwards,
backend
we'll
side.
start the development.
Now coming to the front
And
end
unit
side,
testing will take 1 week.
we're going to use the React.js.
So I'll conduct, I'll tell the complete
React
unit
hooks
testing with the mocking
and Redux
and
concept.
test containers. Redux
So
to
here,
store. In unit testing,
React hooks,
we're going
Redux
to
to
use
store,
the and then
mocking
React.js and then
18.x
test containers. Whatever
test
the
containers
latest
we
as
will
an
use.
as on when we start this
JUnit,
React.js that we will use.
Marketo,
And
so
these
that
test
means
containers we're going to use.
we're going to build the system.
So complete
Where
1
the UI
week
will
it
execute in
will
the
take
browser.
for the unit testing only, where all microservices will run in the
For
cloud.
one project,
This UI will make a
I'll tell
call
you
to the cloud services
complete
over
unit
the
testing,
network. Integration testing,
stateless
functional
architecture
testing, how we have to
is
do.
what we're going to see.
For other projects,
Right?
meaning other
So you need to know
microservices,
about the
you guys have to do the
stateless
same fashion.
architecture.
Because if we
So
spend
these are all the concepts.
1 week
Next,
for every
we're going to start and then
microservice,
discuss.
I
Okay?
think
Because you guys have to know
it is
this.
little tough for us
So
to implement.
stateless
But for
architecture
one service
is what you have to understand.
I'll explain the unit testing end to end.
Okay, coming to the
Same you have to apply
prerequisites.
for the other services. Everybody must have the knowledge or experience
development
on
of
Java
other
8.
services, I'll explain.
Why?
We will
Because
do the
is
development of other services
we'll
from the very scratch.
extensively
I'll
use
do
Java 8 here.
unit testing only. I'm talking about
Most
for
of
first
the
service,
coding I'm doing,
I'll do the
in
unit
Java
testing
8.
end to end. I'll explain.
We'll use the functional programming.
From the next service,
We'll
onwards,
use the
you have to
expressions
practice Lambda on
on
the next service, onwards.
right? We'll use the
Likewise,
streams.
if you do for 2 to 3 services,
Java
then
8
you will
features
be
will
mastering
use
unit testing
extensively here.
There were
So Java
various
8 knowledge
ways
or
of doing the
experience
unit
is
testing.
mandatory.
Which one is the
Then
standard one? Which
we
is the
are
best
using
one?
Spring Boot 3.x,
Right? So you
But
need to
if you-
understand about
if
the
the
most of the folks don't know Spring Boot.
you need to
3.x,
understand
don't
about
worry.
if you know the Spring
TDD,
Core test-driven
then you will be eligible.
development.
If you know Spring Boot as well, that is
test-driven
fantastic.
development
But if you know
and
Spring Core,
BDD
yeah, come and then join, because
behavior
we're gonna start the Spring Boot. I mean, we're
driven
gonna start the project in Spring Boot from
development.
very scratch. So whenever again,
So these
I'm
two
creating the
are
project in Spring Boot and then we are starting.
very, very important.
I'll explain what I'm
Behavior.
doing. You know what is that? Why
Driven
I'm doing and all. I'll
These are all
explain. very, very
So,
important. If you have the
if
experience,
we
knowledge on
thought
Spring Boot,
of
no
doing the
version,
unit
I mean,
test,
no problem. Whatever it's
you must have to know first these two.
you can come and then
Don't
join.
worry, we'll
It's very
discuss
good.
whatever I'm
No, if you
writing
don't
here,
know
na?
the Spring Boot, you
These
only
are all the
till Spring
concepts.
Course. That is also
Everybody
fine.
should
You can
have
come
to
and
know.
then join. Whenever you are
Because
attending,
we're
we're
gonna
going to start the
interviews,
project in Spring Boot only.
These
So,
concepts will be
whenever
asked
I'm
mostly.
starting the project, I'll explain meaning.
Right? Coding is,
For example, we created
one
now
part.
user management project.
The
Assume.
managerial, meaning the
Then I'll
project
explain what
management
is
related
bill of
activities
material pattern,
or the
what
project,
is dependencies,
project involvement,
hierarchy,
project
what is
related
transitive
activities.
dependencies.
Two things
Right.
you need to take in care.
How
Not
the
only
Spring
coding.
Boot will use these concepts
In interviews,
how the auto
they not only
configuration
ask the
is
coding,
using,
they'll also
how the
ask
starters are making a big help
about
to
your
our-
project,
to us.
system architecture,
All these Spring Boot concepts
Detail,
again,
I mean,
I'll
domain.
discuss there.
However,
How you have done the unit testing. The project has been
how you have done the
development
performance
phase of
testing,
the project is divided into 8
how you will
sprint,
do the
meaning 60 days. I
observability,
told 60 days is the
monitoring.
minimum target, right?
All these questions they will ask, not
So
only
60
coding,
days we will target.
right? So these are all the things
Maximum is
important
75
for
days
us.
for us to understand.
So in the 60 days, okay.
First 1 week
So
we'll do the
I believe you got
infrastructure
now
setup.
how the project is
What
going
kind
to
of
be
infrastructure
executed, right?
setup we will do.
Last 1 week,
So this is
we'll
what
spend
our
for
infra setup
bug fixing
and
this is the
maintenance.
production
Of course,
infrastructure. Maintenance
this
don't
is
come
the
to
production
us, but
infrastructure.
last 1 week
We'll fix on the
this
bug
setup
fixing.
we gonna do. Of course, not
this
right
last
now, but
1
at least
week,
I'll explain the
we'll do the
infrastructure
production
setup
dip in the production,
and we will do the infra setup in the dev.
production deployment time,
The
bug
first
fixing
1
in
week,
production.
infrastructure
If
setup
we'll get
in
any bug
dev
fix and
as well
any
as in the
bugs,
cloud.
we'll fix them in the production.
So
Next,
production
second
deployment,
week onwards, we'll start
bug
the
fixing
development
and maintenance.
and unit testing will take 1 week.
So this is for
So I'll
one
tell the
sprint.
complete unit testing with the mocking.
Sprint
And
here,
test
you can
containers.
say week.
So here,
Duration
in
of
unit
time
testing,
in which our
we're gonna use the
tasks will be
mocking,
completed.
and then
That
test
is
containers.
what you can say it as a
Test
sprint.
containers we're gonna use.
So infra
JUnit
setup is for one sprint,
Mosquito, and then
this
the test containers we're gonna use. Development and unit testing.
So
is
complete
3
1
sprints.
week,
It will take for the unit
production
testing
deployment
only.
is
So,
one sprint.
For one project,
Now,
I'll tell you
coming to understanding
complete
the
unit
domain
testing,
and then retail e-commerce,
integration
here
testing,
you need to understand the domain
functional testing, how we have to do.
retail e-commerce.
For other
I think
projects,
we will
meaning
start
other
understanding the
microservices,
domain retail e-commerce.
you guys have to do the same
Tomorrow
fashion.
onwards. Because
But
if we
Just
spend
to see,
this is what
1
the
week for
core
every
content I am now
microservice, I
presenting
think
to you guys so
it
that you
is
get
little
an
tough for
idea.
us to implement. But for one service,
Right? How this
I'll
project
explain the
is
unit
going
testing
to
end
be.
to end.
I'll also
So
showcase
same you
the-
have to
I'll
apply
also
for the
showcase
other
the
services.
existing project.
But
How the existing
development
project
of other
was
services,
and
I'll
how we
explain.
have to
Meaning,
design.
we will do the development
So I'll
of other
showcase you
services
the
from the very
existing
scratch.
project.
I'll do.
I'll
Unit
explain
testing
you
only
the
I'm talking
goal
about.
or
For
the
first
target
service,
to
I'll
where
do the
we
unit
have
testing
to
end
reach
to
to.
end. I'll
So I'll
explain you.
explain maybe going
From the
forward
next
in our
service
demos,
onwards,
I'll
you
explain.
have to practice on the next.
So first
service
we'll
onwards.
see here project
Likewise, if you
concept.
do for 2 to 3 services, then
So
you
in
will
order
be
to
mastering
understand the project
unit
concept,
testing.
There
I
are
already have
various
prepared a lot of
ways of doing the
documentation.
unit testing. So project concept,
Which one is the standard one?
and
Which is the
module
best one?
how many modules
Right?
are there?
So you need to
Right?
understand
And
about
what are the things to be
you
taken
need to
care in the
understand about
modules,
the
drawbacks of the existing system,
TDD,
and then the
test-driven
improvements that we have to do in the new
development.
system. Right? Everything I have
Test-driven development
prepared the documents.
and
So, however,
PDD,
first we will understand the
behavioral
project concept,
driven
modules, and use cases
development.
discussion. You can go and then
So
see
these
here.
two are
Use cases
very,
documents.
very important.
I'll prepare and then give
Behavior
it to you.
driven
See
development.
this, for
These are
example,
all
this is
very,
the
very important.
use case one,
If
user management.
we thought of doing the
So,
unit test,
what is
we must
the
have
things
to know
that we
first
have to
these
taken
two.
care?
Don't worry, we'll discuss.
What are
Whatever
the
I'm
use cases that we
writing
have
here,
to
na?
build?
These are all the concepts.
These
Everybody
use
should
cases
have
will
to
help
know
us to do the unit testing
whenever you are attending the
by
interviews
covering all the scenarios.
these
So
concepts.
that
will
is
be
the
asked
reason I
mostly.
have written all the scenarios
Coding is
that
one
we need
part.
to implement.
The
this,
managerial, meaning the project management related
handout,
activities,
along with the
or the project integration
project
flow,
involvement,
project related activities,
along with the
packaging structure,
two things you need to take
along
care,
with the
not
ER
only
diagram,
coding.
right? In
Again,
interviews,
architecture diagram,
they not only
I
ask the
have to
coding,
provide here. I'll provide.
they also ask
But
the you may understand
your
now.
project.
We will
System
first
architecture.
understand the project concept,
Detail,
overall
domain,
project concept. We'll understand
how you have done the unit testing,
Then we'll see how many modules
how you have done
are
the
there.
performance testing,
Then we will see
how you will do
use
the
cases,
observability,
discussion, monitoring. All these questions
Okay.
they will ask, not
Then,
only coding. Again, we will see the understanding the
so
functional
these are all the things
requirements.
important for
So
us to
once the
understand.
use cases discussion is done, okay, then how the
So
functionality should
I
be.
believe you got
That
now
means
how the UI
project
screen
is going to be executed, right? How the backend last
design
1
should
week will spend
right?
for
So
bug fixing.
how
How
the
the UI screens should be,
and
all these
maintenance
things we'll
of course.
discuss. In this maintenance, don't come to us,
Understanding the
but
functional
last
requirements.
1 week we'll fix on the bug fixing. Next, understanding the technical last 1 week. Here we will see
We'll
do the production deployment, technical feasibilities. You can see here production deployment and bug fixing. One microservice connected to MySQL database. If you'll get any bug fix, any bugs, we'll fix them in the production. Another microservice connected to production deployment, MongoDB. One microservice connected to DynamoDB, and again one more microservice connected to. So this is let's assume PostgreSQL. One sprint. So what are the technical requirements here? Sprint here, you can say week. Maybe this is a Node.js service. Duration of time in which maybe this is a Python service. Tasks will be these two are Spring Boot services. That is what you can say it as. What is the technical requirements that we need to take? So infra setup is for one sprint. As part of this technical requirements and understanding, you need to understand unit testing is 6 sprints. DDD, production deployment is domain driven sprint. Development. Now, coming to understanding the domain driven development. Here you need to understand domain DDD, retail e-commerce, domain driven. I think we will start understanding the domain retail e-commerce. In domain driven development, we'll understand, but just to how see the project is. This is what the how best we can understand presenting to you guys, so that you will get from an idea. There how best we can derive the modules. How this project is going to this. I'll also showcasing you. I'll also so what I mean to say is existing project. In order to understand how the existing project was and how we have to design. First, we need to understand. So I'll showcase you the existing project, domain driven development. I'll explain you the goal or so the here target. We will understand where we have to requirements. What so are the technologies that we have used will decides here. So first we'll see here. Then project we'll concept, see the understanding the user interface. So in order to understand the project concept, how the user I already have prepared a lot of documentation. Like. So project. So we already have the wireframes modules. Designed. How many modules you can see those right and what are the things to be taken care in the modules drawbacks of so the this is the new system. Design wireframes and then the customers improvements that we have to do in the new system product everything I have categorized the documents. So however First, we will this is what our new dashboard, new design, modules, and use cases discussion. So these wireframes we need to understand. You can go and then see here. Use cases to make these wireframes as realistic. I'll prepare and then give it React.js. So we'll understand the user interface. This is the use case 1, user management. Then we'll do the database design. What is the things that we have to take care? Database design, what are the use cases that we have to build? These use cases will help us to design the database for the microservices by covering all the scenarios. So that is the reason I have written. So all the scenarios, you can see this, that we need this to is implement the existing project entity relation along with the diagram, integration flow, along with maybe its blur, packaging structure, along with the ER diagram. Right. So this is the architecture ER diagram I have to provide existing project. But you may understand now and all. We'll first understand the project concept. See this? Overall project concept. We need to understand this ER diagram. Then we'll see how many modules are there. In the case of microservices, then we will see the use cases, how we have to handle this database. Then again, we will see the understanding the functional requirements. For that one, we have to once the use cases discussion is done, database, then how the functionality should be design pattern. That means how the UI screen database, how the backend design should be in this database design patterns, how the UI screens should be. All these to understand we'll discuss in this understanding called CQRs. Next, understanding the technical as part of the domain-driven development. Here we will see the technical. We also need to understand. You can see here. We also need to understand the one microservice connected to MySQL database. We also need to understand the another microservice connected to pattern, MongoDB. Okay, one microservice. So what did you understand? DynamoDB. And again, one more microservice forward while going. Let's assume PostgreSQL. I'll also discuss. So what are the technical requirements here, so that how we can maybe divide the existing system. Maybe this is a Python service. These two are here. One more point. I thought I have to write here. What is the technical requirements that we need to take? What is this as part of this technical requirements understanding? Is it the brown to understand or the greenfield? DDD. So this is domain driven brownfield development. Brownfield. Brownfield meaning domain driven. Already we have the existing. We need to understand this DDD. That existing domain application we need to convert to microservices architecture. In domain driven development, so we'll understand what is this, how the project is, how best we can understand the domain, and from there how best we can derive, or we can say is what we can see in this migration. So what I mean to say architecture is in order to understand this technical requirements. First, we need to brownfield architecture, the domain driven. We already have the existing system. So here we will understand that technical requirements. We need to migrate. What are the technologies that we have to use? We'll decide here. Then we'll see why we have chosen this migration architecture as the brownfield, because nowadays how the user interface, whenever you attain like meaning whenever you. So we already have the wireframes design. You got the job, and then whenever you join, you can see those right wireframes here. Most of the microservices project are. So this is the new design wireframes only. Customers most around 80% brownfield only. Products, that means categories. Dashboard. The applications were already there. So this is what our new dashboard, new design. We need to convert them to the microservices. So these wireframes we need to understand by analyzing the problems in the current system, and then we need to that make these brownfield as realistic. So here React.js. We need to also will understand the user interface requirements. Brownfield, and then the green. Then we'll do the database design. Project kickoff, As part of the project database design, we'll discuss this brownfield, how we have to design the database for the microservices architecture, right? So if you can see this FIELD, this is the and then existing. So we'll discuss about these two concepts. Entity relational diagram. You can when we discuss this project kickoff, maybe it's blur. Okay. So these are all the concepts that we need to discuss. So this is the to understand here diagram Java real-time existing project. Next is relations and all. So technical requirements. Once this all we have completed, then we will to understand this here diagram. But this is not early. In the case of microservices, this we will see a development last. How we have but before even this, handle we'll with the database architecture design problems with layers implementation. For that one, using various architectural design patterns and use case database design patterns. So how the existing project database architecture is and in this how our new architecture should looks like. We need to understand what is its layers implementation pattern called CQRs. What is its tiers implementation, what is its deployment architecture. All here, those as things part of the domain I already have drafted here, right? Architectures. We also need to understand. Again, I will draft in front of you so that you also can easily understand it. We also need to understand the strangler pattern. Finally, we'll start the development from here. So what did you understand while going? So finally, we'll start our development from here. Till here, and it will be most the pattern associated to it. Understanding so of the project. How we can divide here, the existing system. I'll try to cover in the demos. Here, one more point, 5 demos. I thought I have to write here. From here, so the project development will start. What is this project is? So software installation, project brownfield, how to do the project greenfield. So about this project setup, so this you will understand is the project kickoff brownfield. In this project kickoff section, brownfield meaning how the project will be already started. We have the and where you need to go and then do the setup and all. You will that understand. Existing application we need then to convert to normal services, UI, React JS integration and all. So what is this? These are all the microservices architecture, brownfield. So the first is identity or we can management. Say, and then the next is migration architecture, customer management or the user management. Yeah, identity and access management is covering the so brownfield architecture. Password authentications, authorization. We already have the existing system. Then categories that management. Existing system we need to migrate to the microservices. Then product management. This one. Then so why we have chosen settings this migration architecture, customer management? Because nowadays shopping cart, order whenever you attend payment management, whenever you here we will do the you got the job and then whenever you payment gateway integration, right? Most of the microservices project Paytm brownfield only. We'll do the payment gateway. Most sandbox is given, so we'll use that sandbox. That means the applications were already there. Shipping and then delivery management. Products were already there. Projects were already there. The ratings and then we need to convert them to the microservices by analyzing the modules we'll study in the existing application. So that is what the then brownfield architecture will migrate them to the microservices. We need to also know about the coming to the tools and then services and then the around 34-35 tools. So and project kickoff both. As part of the project, so we'll use the tools and then services. We'll around 34-35 services we'll use tools and services. Brownfield and green. For the development purpose, we'll use the IDE called STS, Spring Tool Suite. For the UI development, we'll use the Visual Studio Code IDE, Brownfield, and then and for the architectural design, we'll discuss about these two concepts. And coming to this
when we
note,
discuss this
all the
project kickoff.
soft copy of the project implementation guides.
So these are all the
materials
concepts
will be
that we
shared
need to discuss.
in classes. Video recordings will be provided
Java
with the validity
real-time
of 4
project.
months. For example, if
Next
we
is
completed
what?
the course in 75 days. So technical requirements, then once this all we have
The next
completed,
75 days,
then we will go for the
videos
database
will be
design.
available.
But this is not early. So this is about this
the
we will see it project
last.
plan, how it going to be. But before even this, again, I
We'll
have
go with
not
the
discussed
project
in detail
architecture
about
design,
each and every module,
layers
implementation, and each and every tool.
using
I
various
have not discussed
architectural
in
design
detail.
patterns.
So
and
going
use
forward,
case diagrams.
probably tomorrow onwards, let us start understanding the
how the
existing project
system
architecture is,
and
how the existing
how
system
our
is,
new architecture should looks like.
then infra setup,
What is its layers
understanding
implementation?
the infra setup, what is its tiers implementation,
So how the
what is its
infrastructure
deployment
setup will be
architecture,
happen.
all those
So
things.
again,
I already
here I
have
have
drafted
written
here the
right,
infra setup
architecture
steps, but
So how we
again
have
I
to do
will
the
draft in
infra
front
setup
of you so that you can easily understand.
Then
Then we'll discuss about the major use cases. First, we'll understand the project concepts
finally,
and then the
we'll
use
start the
cases.
development from
Existing
here.
system
So
understand
software
into
installation.
series MVP, minimum viable product.
So finally, we'll
Again,
start
we
our
need to discuss
development from
about
here.
the till here MVP. It will
So
be
here we'll
most
discuss about
into the
MVP.
understanding of the project.
Minimum
So till here, I'll try to
viable
cover in the demos product. Okay, 5 demos. What is this
if
minimum
possible.
viable product? We'll discuss. From here, the project
project
concepts,
start.
use cases. First, we'll software installation,
Discuss.
project setup. How
So
to
I'll
do
discuss
the
this
project project use cases.
So
Existing
about this project
application
setup,
understanding, you will understand in the
by
project
showcasing
kickoff
you the
existing application in this
in
project
live.
kickoff section. You will understand. Okay, that means
How
I'll run
the
in my
project will be
local
started
and
and
where
then
you need to
showcase
go
you
and then do the setup and all. You will
the
existing
existing
system and all. Then normal.
So then from there,
React
we will
JS
try
integration
to
and all.
understand
this project use cases
Then
and all. These are all the modules we're gonna see. So that's all, guys, from the demo one.
So the first is
now you can ask your
identity
questions,
and access
management, if you have
any.
any. And then the next is any questions for me? The customer management or the user management? Any identity and access management is covering the password authentications, authentications, and
Okay. Hello.
yes. Then
Uh,
categories
Hi,
management,
Narsi. I am
This
working
one.
as a Java backend developer.
then product
I have
management,
good knowledge in Spring Boot,
this one.
but in front end also I have good
Then
knowledge in HTML, CSS.
settings management,
But coming
customer
to React,
management,
I have no prior knowledge.
shopping cart,
But
order management,
cloud services
payment
and
management.
IAM management or Docker,
Here we
DevOps,
will
all
do
I
the
know.
okay.
Is it
Payment
advisable
gateway
to
integration.
join without the React knowledge?
Yeah, React here also in our project, React JS will do the payment gateway integration. Integration sandbox is given, meaning so we'll use from the scratch again. But I don't focus much on the React course. It is not the React course. Next,
Okay.
shipping and then delivery management, the backend services, and microservices,
the ratings and then
UI
rewards management.
The UI can be latter, an Angular.
total
UI
of
can
8
be latter,
modules we will
device,
study
UI
in
can
the
be latter,
existing
POS system.
application.
But here
Then
you will gain the experience
we'll
of
migrate
how the
them to the
microservices will be
microservices
integrated with the
architecture.
UI. That is the concept.
Coming to the
So,
tools
if
and
you
then
guys
services,
have the backend
around
technical
34,
staff, happily you
35
can
tools
join
and services.
because UI
both.
there is definitely there were
So
a
we'll use the
dedicated
tools and then
professionals at the
services.
UI side.
Around 34, 35 services.
So we are
we'll
not
use tools
the
and
dedicated
services.
professionals at UI side. If
For
the
the
opportunity will come,
purpose, we'll use the
with
IDE
our knowledge
called
and
STS,
experience, will also
Spring
work
Tool
at
Suite.
the UI side and then the backend side. But
For
our
the UI
core
development,
skill
we'll
set
use
is
the
Visual
Backend.
Studio Code IDE,
Actually,
isn't it? And for the architectural design, I'll use the
actually, I
data
want to
table.
shift as a full stack developer. So
And
that's
coming
why
to this note,
I am try.
all the
I
soft
joined
copy
this
of the project
one
implementation
to
guides
ask
and
about
materials
the
will be
is it
shared.
necessary to join? I mean, is
Classes
it
video recordings will be provided with the
advisable to
validity of
join
4
without
months.
prior React
For
knowledge?
example,
Only, that was the
if we
only
completed the
case
course
I
in
am missing.
75
Either it was
days,
Angular or React or
then that's okay. I think you can
The
join.
next
You can join.
75 days.
So, but one advice I
The
can give
videos
for
will be
all of you folks,
Okay.
parallelly, Parallelly,
this is about
join
the
React
project
course.
plan, how it going to be.
Parallelly
executed.
join React course. Not in
Again, I
Durga
have
Soft,
not
in
discussed
Narsi
in
IT,
detail
not in
about the
etc.
each and
etc.
every module,
Or you can also join in
and each and every
whatever
tool. I have
What I
not
mean
discussed
is,
in
no
detail.
matter how you
So
are and
going
where you are
forward,
comfortable
probably
to join,
tomorrow onwards,
but it is
let us
advisable
start
to join
understanding
React
the
JS course as well.
existing system,
In the, when we start this
Um,
backend,
how the
when we start
existing
this
system
microservices
is.
architecture, right?
Then
By the time if you
infra setup,
join the React JS also, when we
understanding
do the
the infra
integrations, you can easily understand.
So how the
Of course, I'll also
infrastructure setup will
explain,
be
but
happened.
you can easily cope up with the things.
So again,
answer
here I
for
have
the
written
question
the
is,
infra setup steps.
without prior knowledge of the
So how we
React
have to do
JS,
the infra setup and all.
you are happily advisable to
Then
join this
we'll discuss
course.
about the major.
However, whenever
use
I'm doing the
cases.
React JS
First we'll
integration,
understand the project
maybe I
concepts
don't
and then the
discuss
use
about
cases.
the React
Existing
course,
system understand,
but
we'll do.
you
Series
can easily
MVP,
understand
minimum viable
how the
product.
React will
Again, we need to discuss
works
about the
with the component driven
MVP.
architecture. So
So
while I'm
here
doing,
we'll
you
discuss
came to
about
know,
the
you will understand.
MVP.
Got it right? I
Minimum
answered right.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
viable.
Any more questions, folks?
What is this minimum viable
Great.
product? We'll
Thank you
discuss.
so much. Yeah, any more questions, Nitish?
So project concepts,
yes.
use cases.
So will I get
First
that
we'll
recording of that class
discuss.
for some time?
So I'll
Correct,
discuss
correct.
this
So
project
these
use
demos
cases,
recordings
existing
also,
application understanding.
you will get over your
by
email after
showcasing you
some
the
time,
existing
meaning probably they'll
application
send by the
in live.
evening. But they'll send you the
Okay,
email.
that
with
means
the,
I'll run in my local
demo recordings
and then showcase.
And once you join the course, however,
the
every day the
existing
recordings
system
will
and
be
all.
sent by the backend team.
So
Okay.
then from there we will try to
I have
understand
one more
this
doubt.
project use cases. and all.
As you mentioned earlier,
Okay. So that's
we are
all,
going
guys,
to develop the
from
project
the
from
demo one
scratch.
point of view.
Correct.
And
Now you can
some
ask
projects
your
will be
questions.
there. Like previously, I used to do
If
work
you
in
have any.
migration project.
Hmm.
Will you explain
Any questions for me?
how to migrate already existing project
Any
to
questions?
cloud?
Any doubts? That is what here the migration architecture is brownfield.
Great.
That means
Okay.
great.
Okay.
We'll first understand the existing architecture, existing
Hi,
project.
Narsi.
So that is
I am
what
working as a
the
Java backend
project
developer.
concepts and then modules
I
we'll
have
discuss
good
from
knowledge
tomorrow
in
onwards.
Spring
We'll
Boot,
understand the
but
existing
in
project.
front-end also I have good knowledge in
And
HTML,
then we
CSS.
will apply
But
the
coming to React, I have
microservices
no prior
patterns
knowledge.
to migrate to
Okay.
the
But
microservices
cloud
architecture.
services and
That is
IAM
where
management or
we are
Docker,
discussing.
DevOps,
We
all
will
I know.
discuss all these things.
Okay.
Is it advisable to join without the
So,
React
I'll explain
knowledge?
how
Yeah,
we can
React
migrate and all.
here
I'll
also
explain.
in
Going
our
forward,
project,
microservices patterns
React
will be
JS
helpful for us to
integration
migrate an
integrations
existing
we will
architecture
do,
or application to the
from the scratch again.
microservices. I don't focus much on the
So,
React course.
I'll
It is not the
explain
React
course.
what are all the microservices
Okay.
We'll do
architectural
integrate
patterns.
the
You will see.
backend services,
Microservices
meaning
meaning going forward.
I'll explain them.
The UI can be latter an
Okay.
Angular, UI can be latter a
Any more
device,
questions?
UI can be latter a POS system.
Okay.
But
So
here you will
Telegram
gain the
channel I will
experience
create,
of how the microservices
meaning
will be
you guys can
integrated
talk
with
to
the
me over
UI.
the
That is
Telegram
the
channel.
concept. While once you have joined.
Okay.
So
if
and
you
remember,
guys
the class
have
is
the
going to be
backend
started
technical
8
stuff,
a.m.
happily you can join.
These demos are
Because
planned
UI
7
there
a.m.
is
but the classes
definitely
are going
there
to
were
be started
a dedicated
8 a.m.
professionals at the UI side.
That's all from my side.
So we
guys.
are not the
Thank you
dedicated
so much.
professionals at
And
UI
see you
side.
tomorrow at the same time.
If the opportunity
The
will
demo
come
too.
with our
Understanding
knowledge
the
and
project
experience will
concept
also work
and
and
then
then
the UI side and then the backend
existing
side. But our
application
core
project
skill set is backend.
existing application concept is
Actually,
it modules
uh,
Existing application
Actually,
architecture.
I want to shift as
I'll
a
showcase you by
full
running
stack
in my
developer.
local
So that's why
working application.
I am
Then from there
I
we will
joined
derive
this
to the
one whether
our
to ask
microservices
about the
architecture.
is it
Thanks a lot.
necessary to
Stopping for
join?
now.
I mean, is it
Yeah, will you
uh,
develop React JS code from
advisable to
scratch? Yes, I'll
join
develop
without
React
prior
JS code from the
React knowledge?
scratch,
Only
but I
that was the
don't
only
explain the React
case
JS
I am missing.
concepts
Either
again
it was
from the
Angular
scratch.
or React.
But I'll start developing
That's
the
okay. I
React JS
think
from
you
very,
can
very
join. You can
scratch.
join. So, but one advice I can give
Okay,
for
guys,
all of
I'm
you,
stopping
all of you
for now
folks.
and then see you tomorrow.
Parallelly,
Same time. Thanks.
parallelly join React course. Parallelly
Okay.
join React course. Not in Durga Soft, not in Narsi IT, not in etc. etc. Or you can also join in YouTube, whatever. What I mean is, no matter how you are and where you are comfortable to join, but it is advisable to join React JS course as well. And when we start this backend, when we start this microservices architecture, right?
Yeah.
By the time if you join the React.js also, when we do the integrations, you can easily understand. Of course, I'll also explain, but you can easily cope up with the things. So answer for the question is, without prior knowledge of the React.js, you are happily advisable to join this course. However, whenever I'm doing the React.js integrations, maybe I don't discuss about the React course, but you can easily understand how the React will works with the component driven architecture. So while I'm doing, you came to know, you will understand. Got it right? I answered right?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions, folks? Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, any more questions, Nitish?
Yes, yes. So will I get that recording of that class for some time?
Correct, correct. So these demos recordings also, you will get over your email after some time, meaning probably they'll send by the evening, but they'll send you the email with the demo recordings and all. And once you join the course, however, every day the recordings will be sent by the backend team.
Okay.
I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlierly, we are going to develop the project from scratch.
Correct.
And some projects will be there. Like previously, I used to work in migration project. Will you explain how to migrate already existing project to cloud?
That is what here the migration architecture is brownfield. That means
Okay.
we'll first understand the existing architecture, existing project. So that is what the project concepts and then modules we'll discuss from tomorrow onwards. We'll understand the
Okay.
existing project. And then we will apply the microservices patterns to migrate it to the microservices architecture. That is where we will discuss all these things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll explain how we can migrate and all. I'll explain going forward. Microservices patterns will be helpful for us to migrate an existing architecture or application to the microservices architecture. So I'll explain what are all the microservices architectural patterns we will see. Meaning going forward, I'll explain them.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay. So Telegram channel I will create. Meaning you guys can talk to me over the Telegram channel while once you have joined. And remember, the class is going to be started at 8 a.m. These demos are planned at 7:15 a.m., but the classes are going to be started 8 a.m. That's all from my side, guys. Thank you so much. And see you tomorrow at the same time with the demo 2, understanding the project concept and then modules, existing application project, existing application concept, modules, existing application architecture. I'll showcase you by running in my local, the working application. Then from there, we will derive to our microservices architecture. Thanks a lot. Stopping for now. Yeah, will you develop React.js code from scratch? Yes, I'll develop React.js code from the scratch, but I don't explain the React.js concepts again from the scratch. But I'll start developing the React.js from very, very scratch. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm stopping for now and then see you tomorrow at the same. Welcome to Java Real-Time Project, full stack development using the Spring Boot microservices cloud technologies. So the agenda is, first of all, this course is, the demos will be at 7:15 a.m. Probably 5 demos. I'm not sure how many, but minimum 5 demos, maximum 5 demos will be at 7:15 a.m. And the class timings, regular class timings are from 8 a.m. 8 a.m. IST onwards. Okay, so once demos done, then we're going to start the session from the 8 a.m. onwards. So the prerequisite for this course, let me just glance you through the course. The prerequisite No voice? Am I audible? Can anyone please confirm, am I audible? Hello all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Pushpa. Bogendra, just check your mic and all. Okay, so let me glance you through the project. The project is Shopify platform. The project type is full stack development. Here, full stack development meaning end to end, from the UI to till database modeling, end to end, we will develop from the very scratch. Usually, in any application, we will have the view pages or view right, meaning the front end. So we will always interact with the front end. It will be talked to the back end. So that front end and then back end. Again, we'll separately discuss what is front end, what is back end, but end to end application development, testing, and then deployment will comes under this full stack development. The course duration is 75 days. Maximum is 75 days, minimum 60 days. So we'll also conduct the little longer sessions on Saturdays and then Sundays on need basis. Then we'll try to wind up it in the specified duration, that is 75 days. And cloud platform, we're going to use the AWS cloud platform. In AWS cloud platform, we'll use the services IAM, EC2, VPC, Certificate Manager, Route 53, and Elastic Load Balancer. So these are all the services that we will use. Also, S3. So these services we will use. Don't worry, if you don't know AWS, no need to worry. I will share the videos of all these services of my previous batch. You just go through it. And also, while I am doing here, you will again see these services implementation practically while we are setting up our project. So why, first of all, the step one is the infrastructure setup in the project, isn't it? Usually, how the project will be, meaning how you will be assigned to the project in real time. First, how the project will start in real time. Do you know? Let me just give you a few words about that. Then let me come back to this course content. However, first let me complete the course content. Then I'll come back and then how the project will start. I'll explain the kickstarting process of a project. Project kickoff. Project kickoff. Again, we'll come to this project kickoff. Okay. So we'll discuss this project kickoff. What is the process and how it will be happened? I'll explain. First, let me glance you for 15 to 20 minutes through this course content. Then let us dig into the concepts. So the concepts that we need to discuss. One is the project kickoff, how the project will be kicked off and all we need to discuss. Right. Next is timings are 8 a.m., not 8:15. Timings are 8 a.m. to 9:15, 9 a.m. For sure, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. 1 hour we'll have the session, and next 15 to 20 minutes. Next 15 to 20 minutes is doubts clearing. Every day 1 hour class and 15 to 20 minutes doubts clearing. If anyone would like to drop off after the session, you can go, you can drop and then continue to your offices. You can ask me your questions online through the Telegram channel. And if any others want to clear their doubts live, you can stay on the link and then ask me your doubts next 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So you can ask any of your questions, anything. And the mode of this training is live, instructor pacing. So mode of this training. Okay, before that, domain is retail e-commerce. Again, you need to have a domain knowledge. So let us discuss about the domain retail e-commerce. Before joining to any project, first you need to know the domain and how the domain will help you, right? So why we need to know the domain? What is the benefit if you know the domain? Retail e-commerce is a domain. So what is domain? What is subdomain? And how we can understand the retail versus e-commerce? And if you work on the retail e-commerce projects, then what are the benefits that you will, meaning the technically what are the technical assets you will get? So we will discuss them. Next, the mode of the training will be live, instructor pacing, completely scratch, live, instructor pacing. So live instructor pacing, live coding actually from scratch, coding from scratch. So let me coding from very scratch. Coding from very scratch. So this is the mode of the training. Live online instructor pacing. Live online. Right? That means instructor will tell you the training, meaning myself will give you the training through the online. Live, it will be, coding from very scratch, from the very, very basic, since project starting to, meaning since the use cases discussions to project starting, we'll discuss all the things, and coding also I will do in front of you from the very, very scratch. Even if you don't know Maven, even if you don't know Git, by this time, whenever you are attending the project meeting, at least you might have little knowledge on the tools, may or may not be, but here I'll also start the tools like Maven, GitHub and all, then slowly I will drive you through the project. Okay, the technologies and then the frameworks, we're going to use Spring Boot 3.x. Again, coming to the backend, Spring Boot 3.x. So why I'm talking about the backend here, what is that backend front-end meaning? Just out of curiosity, would like to tell you here. Hope you are able to see my screen now. Yeah. So if you can see, these are all called as the front-end or UI. Maybe Angular application, maybe React application, maybe mobile device, maybe a retail POS device. So these devices or these applications requires the data. So the data, in order to get these applications, will talk to server-side applications. These will execute in the browser. These components will execute in the server. So the browser side components will talk to the server side components to fetch the data and to paint the data. These are all just a painting frameworks. But the original business data will be at this backend. So this is what I'm now talking about. This will be implemented using the Spring Boot 3.x and microservices architecture. Then Spring Cloud we will use to make our system as an ecosystem. I'll explain what is ecosystem. Don't worry, the words I'm using may be brand new for you, but slowly you will get the meaning of those words. Okay, Dockerize. We will use the Dockerizing concepts. We will Dockerize the applications. If you can see, everywhere I have taken the Docker. Everywhere Docker you can see. This is not, but this is Docker. Docker Everywhere I have taken Docker. That means what? Not audible? I think Bogendra, there is some issue seems to be with your mic or something else, but others are able to hear me, I believe, because they were confirmed. They are able to hear me. Okay, just check your mic or maybe the speakers and all. Fine. Now, coming to this technical stack. So Docker will use, AWS platform we will use as a cloud platform, where we're going to deploy our applications, meaning we will maintain the Docker machine there. In the Docker machine, the applications will run as a containers. Don't worry, what is this Docker containers and all? We'll see. And here we are using WSO2 IAM. That is for what? That is for the authentication, authorization, users management, application management, devices management. So for all these purposes, we are also using the WSO2 IAM. You can see the WSO2 IAM in the architecture. Keycloak also you can use. You guys can use Keycloak and other also. But especially in this project, I'm suggesting to use Identity Server because of its all features, many features compared to Keycloak, Okta, and others. So I'll explain when we dig into, when we start this IAM setup. Next thing is what? JDK 17.x is required because Spring Boot 3.x is using the JDK 17.x, and Maven 3.8 is required to use because again, Spring Boot 3.x will be built using the Maven 3.8 as the minimum version. Then we'll also use the Redis cache. Not only this, there were around 32 tools and then services we're going to use in this project. I can showcase them. These are all the major technical stack. I have listed out here. Major technical stack at the backend side. Now coming to the front end side, we're going to use the React.js 18.x and React hooks and Redux concept. Redux store. React hooks, Redux store, and then React.js 18.x. Whatever the latest as on when we start this React.js, that we will use. So that means we're going to build a system where the UI will execute in the browser, where all microservices will run in the cloud. This UI will make a call to the cloud services over the network. So stateless architecture is what we're going to see, right? So you need to know about the stateless architecture. So these are all the concepts. Next, we're going to start and then discuss, okay? Because you guys have to know this. So stateless architecture is what you have to understand. Okay, coming to the prerequisites. Everybody must have the knowledge or experience on Java 8. Why? Because we'll extensively use Java 8 here. Most of the coding I'm doing in Java 8. We'll use the functional programming. We'll use the expressions, lambda, right? We'll use the streams. Java 8 features we'll use extensively here. So Java 8 knowledge or experience is mandatory. Then we are using Spring Boot 3.x. But if the most of the folks don't know Spring Boot 3.x, don't worry. If you know the Spring Core, then you will be eligible. If you know Spring Boot as well, that is fantastic. But if you know Spring Core, yeah, come and then join, because we're going to start the Spring Boot, I mean, we're going to start the project in Spring Boot from very scratch. So whenever again I'm creating the project in Spring Boot and then we are starting. I'll explain what I'm doing, what is that, why I'm doing and all, I'll explain. So if you have the experience, knowledge on Spring Boot, no version, meaning no problem, whatever it's the version it is, you can come and then join. It's very good. No, if you don't know the Spring Boot, you only till Spring Core, that is also fine. You can come and then join. Because we're going to start the project in Spring Boot only. So whenever I'm starting the project, I'll explain, meaning, for example, we created now user management project, assume. Then I'll explain what is bill of material pattern, what is dependencies hierarchy, what is transitive dependencies, right? How the Spring Boot will use these concepts, how the auto configuration it is using, how the starters are making a big helpful to us. All these Spring Boot concepts again I'll discuss there. However, the project has been, the development phase of the project is divided into 8 sprint, meaning 60 days. I told 60 days is the minimum target, right? So 60 days we will target. Maximum is 75 days. So in the 60 days, first 1 week we will do the infrastructure setup. What kind of infrastructure setup we will do? So this is what our infra setup. This is the production infrastructure. This is the production infrastructure. This setup we gonna do, of course, not right now, but at least I'll explain the infrastructure setup in the production, and we will do the infra setup in the dev. The first 1 week, infrastructure setup in dev as well as in the cloud. Next, second week onwards, we'll start the development. And unit testing will take 1 week. So I'll tell the complete unit testing with the mocking and test containers. So here in unit testing, we're going to use the mocking and then test containers. Test containers we're going to use JUnit, Mockito, and these test containers we're going to use. So complete 1 week, it will take for the unit testing only. So for one project, I'll tell you complete unit testing, integration testing, functional testing, how we have to do. For other projects, meaning other microservices, you guys have to do the same fashion. Because if we spend 1 week for every microservice, I think it is little tough for us to implement. But for one service, I'll explain the unit testing end to end. So same you have to apply for the other services. But development of other services, I'll explain. Meaning we will do the development of other services from the very scratch. I'll do unit testing only I'm talking about. For first service, I'll do the unit testing end to end. I'll explain you. From the next service onwards, you have to practice on the next service onwards. Likewise, if you do for 2 to 3 services, then you will be mastering unit testing. There were various ways of doing the unit testing. Which one is the standard one? Which is the best one? Right? So you need to understand about the TDD, test-driven development. Test-driven development, and BDD, behavioral driven development. So these two are very, very important. Behavioral driven development. These are all very, very important. If we thought of doing the unit testing, we must have to know first these two. Don't worry, we'll discuss whatever I'm writing here. These are all the concepts everybody should have to know. whenever you are attending the interviews, these concepts will be asked mostly, right? Coding is one part. The managerial, meaning the project management related activities, or the project involvement, project related activities. Two things you need to take in care, not only coding. In interviews, they not only ask the coding, they'll also ask about your project, system architecture, retail domain, how you have done the unit testing, how you have done the performance testing, how you will do the observability, monitoring. All these questions they will ask, not only coding, right? So these are all the things important for us to understand. Okay, so I believe you got now how the project is going to be executed, right? Last 1 week we'll spend for bug fixing and maintenance. Of course, maintenance don't come to us, but last 1 week we'll fix on the bug fixing. So this last 1 week we'll do the production deployment. Production deployment and bug fixing in production. If we'll get any bug fix, any bugs, we'll fix them in the production. So production deployment, bug fixing, and maintenance. So this is for one sprint. Sprint here, you can say week. Duration of time in which our tasks will be completed. That is what you can say it as a sprint. So infra setup is for one sprint, and then the development and unit testing is 6 sprints. Production deployment is 1 sprint. Now, coming to understanding the domain and then retail e-commerce. Here you need to understand the domain, retail e-commerce. I think we will start understanding the domain retail e-commerce tomorrow onwards. But just to see, this is what the course content I am now presenting to you guys so that you will get an idea, right? How this project is going to be. I'll also showcase you the existing project, how the existing project was and how we have to design. So I'll showcase you the existing project. I'll explain you the goal or the target to where we have to reach to. So I'll explain, maybe going forward in our demos, I'll explain. So first we'll see here project concept. So in order to understand the project concept, I already have prepared a lot of documentation. So project concept and modules, how many modules are there, right? And what are the things to be taken care in the modules, drawbacks of the existing system, and then the improvements that we have to do in the new system, right? Everything I have prepared the documents. So however, first we will understand the project concept, modules, and use cases discussion. You can go and then see here, use cases documents. I'll prepare and then give it to you. See this, for example, this is the use case 1, user management. So what is the things that we have to taken care? What are the use cases that we have to build? These use cases will help us to do the unit testing by covering all the scenarios. So that is the reason I have written all the scenarios that we need to implement in this handout, along with the integration flow, along with the packaging structure, along with the ER diagram, right? Again, architecture diagram I have to provide here. I'll provide, but you may understand now. We'll first understand the project concept. Overall project concept we'll understand. Then we'll see how many modules are there. Then we will see the use cases discussion. Okay. Then again, we will see the understanding the functional requirements. So once the use cases discussion is done, then how the functionality should be. That means how the UI screens should be, how the backend design should be, right? So how the UI screens should be, all these things we'll discuss in this understanding the functional requirements. Next, understanding the technical requirements. Here we will see the technical feasibilities. You can see here one microservice connected to MySQL database. Another microservice connected to MongoDB. One microservice connected to DynamoDB. And again, one more microservice connected to, let's assume, PostgreSQL. So what are the technical requirements here? Maybe this is a Node.js service. Maybe this is a Python service. These two are Spring Boot services. So what is the technical requirements that we need to take? As part of this technical requirements understanding, you need to understand the DDD, domain-driven development. Domain-driven development. We need to understand this DDD, domain-driven development. In domain-driven development, we'll understand how the project is, meaning how best we can understand the domain, and from there, how best we can derive the modules is what we can see in this DDD. So what I mean to say is, in order to understand these technical requirements, first we need to understand the domain-driven development. So here we will understand the technical requirements. What are the technology stack we have to use? We'll decide here. Then we'll see the understanding the user interface requirements. How the user interface should be looks like. So we already have the wireframes designed. You can see those wireframes here. So this is the new design wireframes. Customers, orders, products, categories, dashboard. So this is what our new dashboard, new design. So these wireframes we need to understand first. And then we need to make these wireframes as realistic using the React.js. So we'll understand the user interface requirements. Then we'll do the database design. So database design, how we have to design the database for the microservices architecture, right? So if you can see this, this is the existing project entity relational diagram. You can see this. Maybe it's blur, or yeah, probably it is visible now. So this is the tier diagram of our existing project. The relations and all. See this? We need to understand this tier diagram. And then in the case of microservices development, how we have to handle this database design problems. For that one, we have to know about the database design patterns. Database design patterns. In this database design patterns, we need to understand the pattern called CQRS. Here, as part of the domain-driven development, we also need to understand the strangler pattern. Okay. So what did you understand? While going forward, while going with the concept, I'll also discuss the pattern associated to it so that how we can divide the existing system into microservices. Here, one more point I thought I have to write here. So what is this project is? Is it the brownfield or greenfield? So this is the brownfield. Brownfield meaning already we have the existing application. That existing application we need to convert to microservices architecture. So what is this microservices architecture? Brownfield architecture. Or we can say migration architecture is brownfield. So brownfield architecture, that means we already have the existing system. That existing system we need to migrate to the microservices architecture. So why we have chosen this migration architecture as the brownfield? Because nowadays, whenever you attend, meaning whenever you got the job and then whenever you join in the company, right? Most of the microservices project are brownfield only. Most, around 80% brownfield only. That means the applications were already there, existing products were already there, projects were already there. We need to convert them to the microservices by analyzing the problems in the current system. So that is what the brownfield architecture. So here we need to also know about the brownfield and then the greenfield. So project kickoff, as part of the project kickoff, we'll discuss this brownfield and greenfield. FIELD, brownfield and then greenfield. So we'll discuss about these two concepts when we discuss this project kickoff. Okay, so these are all the concepts that we need to discuss in order to understand a Java real-time project. Next is what? So technical requirements. Once this all we have completed, then we will go for the database design. But this is not early. This we will see it last. But before even this, we'll go with the project architecture design with layers implementation using various architectural design patterns and use case diagrams. So how the existing project architecture is and how our new architecture should looks like. What is its layers implementation? what is its tiers implementation, what is its deployment architecture. All those things we'll see. I already have drafted here, right? Architectures. But again, I will draft in front of you so that you can easily understand it. Finally, we'll start the development from here. So software installation. So finally, we'll start our development from here. Till here, it will be most into the understanding of the project. So till here, I'll try to cover in the demos. Okay, 5 demos, if possible. From here, the project development will start. So software installation, project setup, how to do the project setup. So about this project setup, you will understand in the project kickoff section. In this project kickoff section, you will understand how the project will be started and where you need to go and then do the setup and all you will understand. Then normal UI React.js integration and all. Then these are all the modules we're going to see. So the first is identity and access management. And then the next is the customer management or the user management. Yeah, identity and access management is covering the password authentications, authorizations, and all. Then categories management, this one. Then product management, this one. Then settings management, customer management, shopping cart, order management, payment management. Here we will do the payment gateway integration. Paytm will do the payment gateway integration. Sandbox is given, so we'll use that sandbox. Next, shipping and then delivery management. And then the ratings and then rewards management. A total of 8 modules we'll study in the existing application. Then we'll migrate them to the microservices architecture. Coming to the tools and then services, around 34-35 tools and services, both. So we'll use the tools and then services. Around 34-35 services we'll use, tools and services. For the development purpose, we'll use the IDE called STS, Spring Tool Suite. For the UI development, we'll use the Visual Studio Code IDE. And for the architectural design, I'll use the Durga.io. And coming to this note, all the soft copy of the project implementation guides and materials will be shared. Classes video recordings will be provided with the validity of 4 months. For example, if we completed the course in 75 days, then the next 75 days, the videos will be available. Okay. So this is about the project plan, how it's going to be executed. Again, I have not discussed in detail about the each and every module and each and every tool. I have not discussed in detail. So going forward, probably tomorrow onwards, let us start understanding the existing system, how the existing system is, then infra setup, understanding the infra setup. So how the infrastructure setup will be happened. So again, here I have written the infra setup steps. So how we have to do the infra setup and all. Then we'll discuss about the major use cases. First, we'll understand the project concepts and then the use cases. Existing system understand we'll do. See this MVP, minimum viable product. Again, we need to discuss about the MVP. So here we'll discuss about the MVP. Minimum viable product. What is this minimum viable product? We'll discuss. So project concepts, use cases. First we'll discuss. So I'll discuss these project use cases, existing application understanding by showcasing you the existing application in live. Okay, that means I'll run in my local and then showcase you the existing system and all. So then from there, we will try to understand this project use cases and all. Okay, so that's all guys from the demo one point of view. Now you can ask your questions if you have any. Any questions for me? Any questions? Any doubts? Great. Great. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Narsi. I am working as a Java backend developer.
Okay.
I have good knowledge in Spring Boot, but in front end also I have good knowledge in HTML, CSS. But coming to React, I have no prior knowledge.
Okay.
But cloud services and IAM management or Docker, DevOps, all I know.
Okay.
Is it advisable to join without the React knowledge?
Yeah, React here also in our project, React.js integrations we will do, meaning from the scratch again, but I don't focus much on the React course. It is not the React course.
Okay.
We'll do integrate the backend services, microservices with the UI. The UI can be later an Angular, UI can be later a device, UI can be later a POS system. But here you will gain the experience of how the microservices will be integrated with the UI. That is the concept.
Okay.
So if you guys have the backend technical stack, happily you can join. Because UI, there were a dedicated professionals at the UI side. So we are not the dedicated professionals at UI side. If the opportunity will come with our knowledge and experience, we'll also work at the UI side and then the backend side. But our core skill set is backend, isn't it?
Actually, I want to shift as a full stack developer. So that's why I am I joined this one, whether to ask about is it necessary to join? I mean, is it advisable to join without prior React knowledge? Only that was the only case I am missing. Either it was Angular or React or.
That's okay. I think you can join. You can join. So, but one advice I can give for all of you folks, parallelly join React course. Parallelly join React course. Not in Durgasoft, not in Naresh IT, not in etc. Or you can also join in YouTube, whatever. What I mean is, no matter how you are and where you are comfortable to join, but it is advisable to join React.js course as well. And when we start this backend, when we start this microservices architecture, right?
Yeah.
By the time if you join the React.js also, when we do the integrations, you can easily understand. Of course, I'll also explain, but you can easily cope up with the things. So answer for the question is, without prior knowledge of the React.js, you are happily advisable to join this course. However, whenever I'm doing the React.js integrations, maybe I don't discuss about the React course, but you can easily understand how the React will works with the component driven architecture. So while I'm doing, you came to know, you will understand. Got it right? I answered right?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions, folks? Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, any more questions, Nitish?
Yes, yes. So will I get that recording of that class for some time?
Correct. So these demos recordings also you will get over your email after some time, meaning probably they'll send by the evening, but they'll send you the email with the demo recordings and all. And once you join the course, however, every day the recordings will be sent by the backend team.
Okay.
I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlierly, we are going to develop the project from scratch.
Correct.
And some projects will be there. Like previously, I used to work in migration project. Will you explain how to migrate already existing project to cloud?
That is what here the migration architecture is brownfield. That means
Okay.
we'll first understand the existing architecture, existing project. So that is what the project concepts and then modules we'll discuss from tomorrow onwards. We'll understand the
Okay.
existing project. And then we will apply the microservices patterns to migrate it to the microservices architecture. That is where we will discuss all these things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll explain how we can migrate and all. I'll explain going forward. Microservices patterns will be helpful for us to migrate an existing architecture or application to the microservices architecture. So I'll explain what are all the microservices architectural patterns we will see. Meaning going forward, I'll explain them.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay. So Telegram channel I will create. Meaning you guys can talk to me over the Telegram channel once you have joined. And remember, the class is going to be started at 8 a.m. These demos are planned at 7:15 a.m., but the classes are going to be started 8 a.m. That's all from my side, guys. Thank you so much. And see you tomorrow at the same time with the demo 2, understanding the project concept and then modules, existing application project, existing application concept, modules, existing application architecture. I'll showcase you by running in my local, the working application. Then from there, we will derive to our microservices architecture. Thanks a lot. Stopping for now. Yeah, will you develop React.js code from scratch? Yes, I'll develop React.js code from the scratch, but I don't explain the React.js concepts again from the scratch. But I'll start developing the React.js from very scratch. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm stopping for now and then see you tomorrow at the same time. Thanks a lot. Welcome to Java Real-Time Project, full stack development using the Spring Boot microservices cloud technologies. So the agenda is, first of all, this course is, the demos will be at 7:15 a.m. Probably 5 demos. I'm not sure how many, but minimum 5 demos, maximum 5 demos will be at 7:15 a.m. And the class timings, regular class timings are from 8 a.m. 8 a.m. IST onwards. Okay, so once demo's done, then we're going to start the session from the 8 a.m. onwards. So the prerequisite for this course, let me just glance you through the course. The prerequisite, no voice. Am I audible? Can anyone please confirm, am I audible? Hello all, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Pushpa. Bogendra, just check your mic and all. Okay, so let me glance you through the project. The project is Shopify platform. The project type is full stack development. Here, full stack development meaning end to end, from the UI to till database modeling, end to end, we will develop from the very scratch. Usually, in any application, we will have the view pages or view right, meaning the front end. So we will always interact with the front end, it will be talked to the back end. So that front end and then back end, again, we'll separately discuss what is front end, what is back end, but end-to-end application development, testing, and then deployment will comes under this full stack development. The course duration is 75 days. Maximum is 75 days, minimum 60 days. So we'll also conduct the little longer sessions on Saturdays and then Sundays on need basis. Then we'll try to wind up it in the specified